everyone, my name is Vanessa. Welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I will be exploring the 5 levels of compassion. So this is a teaching that was originally shared with me by Dr. Gabor Maté, who you may be familiar with. He is a world-renowned author, speaker, and thought leader who specializes in trauma and addictions, and also has a really deep understanding of the mind, body, also spirit connection and its relation to our healing. And so he has been a teacher of mine that I really honor and respect, and I wanted to share this teaching of his about compassion and the various layers of compassion that we can work with when it comes to healing, when it comes to just creating healthier environments for not only our own healing, our own relationship to self, but also our relationships with others. And so without further ado, let's dive in. You may already be familiar with these 5 levels of compassion, as I have shared them in a previous video. If you watched my inner child healing masterclass or the recording, you will have seen that there. But I wanted to create a video that specifically focuses on this so I could go a little bit deeper into these levels and just have a video that gets straight to the point. So the first level of compassion is just human compassion, right? Ordinary, basic human compassion, which when you look up the definition for what compassion is, it's really just this ability to suffer with, right? To suffer with another, or to allow ourselves to suffer with whatever's arising, right? Whatever we're feeling, to feel that pain, that suffering, that challenge, those emotions, that discomfort, whatever it is, right? And we're acknowledging and recognizing that there's this element of suffering that's present, right? This pain, this discomfort, this hurt, this suffering. And so when doing so, there's this sense of really just dropping into the heart, feeling empathy, right? Empathy for another, understanding that they are in pain, and we are just offering ourselves to be present, right? To be there with them. And so that's the first level. Then we go into compassion of curiosity, which is really beautiful because this is where inquiry, right? Self-inquiry or just general inquiry comes into play. This is where we get to get curious and really ask questions about what it is that we're experiencing, why we may be feeling a certain way, what's going on, what is being revealed to us, right? That time to just go inward, to inquire, or to hold space to allow another, right? To ask these deeper questions to help another come into deeper levels of understanding. Then we have the third level of compassion, which is compassion of recognition. And this is where we are able to recognize various traits, behaviors, patterns, or aspects of ourselves that may be showing up within another, right? So say we are really frustrated with someone in our life, and it's difficult, right? Sometimes it can be difficult for us to find compassion when we are being hurt or we are being harmed, and or we don't really understand, right, what another person is going through. So this is where we can open up that space for this layer, this level of recognition, right? Perhaps recognizing a similar energy, a similar quality, trait, behavior, pattern that we may also hold within ourselves to varying degrees. This is also where we can kind of look at that mirror analogy, right? Where we are Our relationships are essentially mirrors, right? They're where the people in our life are reflecting different aspects of ourselves, right? Helping us understand ourselves on a much deeper, more intimate level. And that will show up in different ways. There are a lot of nuances here. It does not necessarily mean that, someone's behavior is exactly mirroring your behavior, but it's mirroring something, right? Some quality, some aspect of yourself that we can go into, that we can get curious about as well. Then I also want to mention that this, can be the recognition within another, right? When we're holding space or compassion for another, right? Needing to have that compassion for the other to recognize something within ourselves. But when it comes to compassion for oneself, we can also look to the the collective human experience and really tuning into the oneness of our existence, right? How we are all connected and interconnected, and how what we may be experiencing is also something that many people in the world are also experiencing. So that can also help us come into these deeper levels of compassion with others and with ourselves when we're recognizing these traits, these behaviors, these aspects, these patterns, whatever it may be. Then we get into compassion of truth, which is a very important aspect of compassion and something that I don't think we always really understand. And I think it's extremely important because sometimes, when there's this element of pain or suffering or discomfort, there's this desire to sugarcoat things, right? Or this fear to make things worse, or to trigger someone, or to inflict more pain, right? Which is beautiful, right? This shows that we really care about another, that we can hold this sense of compassion for another. We're not wanting to inflict any pain or suffering or create any more harm, but we also want to be very conscious and aware of where we may be avoiding or running away from pain and suffering and essentially truth, right? So what we're coming into here and what we're understanding is this compassion of truth, this ability for us to see through the lies and the illusions and to shine light on what's true, right? What's real, what's really there, right? A lot of the times, if we're looking at just our relationship with self and how, when we are going through difficult times, feeling heavier emotions, going through some sort of challenge or adversity, there's this aspect of ourselves that's wanting to suppress, to avoid, to numb out, to escape, right? To not really acknowledge and recognize what's truly there. And so this is also how we find liberation, right? To liberate ourselves or another from suffering, there needs to be this element of truth, right? We all know the truth will set you free. And this is also beautiful because a lot of the times, what we need as humans is this connection, this intimacy. We're really wanting to be seen and recognized and understood on so many levels, right? And so there's that aspect of ourselves that may want to hide or not share certain vulnerabilities or traits or behaviors, or really, reveal certain parts of ourselves, right? Because it may be scary or uncomfortable or hard, right? Whatever that may be. And so when there's this compassion of truth, we're really creating that space to see ourselves and another on such a deep and an intimate level, which provides so much healing, right? Sometimes we just really need to be witnessed. Whatever it is that we are avoiding or we're running from just wants to be seen. It just wants to be acknowledged. And so when we can understand, this truth, right? This need for truth, and to not avoid the pain that may come from looking at things from this radical truth, right? Just being radically honest with ourselves or with another, then that's when, so much healing and transformation and liberation can take form. We're really just liberating ourselves from all of those lies and the illusions often created by the mind, the ego, the stories, the narratives that we may be creating or telling ourselves. And we're coming into, the true nature, right? Really seeing the true self. And then we can go into the last one, which is compassion of possibility. And this is also really beautiful because this is where we are holding space for one to just to rise in their highest potential, to allow their highest expression to become manifest, right? To take form, to be really expressed and embodied. And so we are essentially holding space for the endless possibilities, right? The miracles, whatever it may be. And I think this is also important to understand because sometimes when it comes to compassion and relationships with others, there can be difficult relationships, right, that may be abusive or be really harmful to ourselves, right? There's times where we're going to have to, that compassion of truth can come through where there's this recognition of when something is inflicting harm or abuse or pain or suffering, right? And so boundaries, right? Boundaries are necessary. We're going to have to eventually create boundaries with certain individuals in our life that may be, inflicting pain and suffering onto us, and really realizing and recognizing that. But we can hold on to this compassion of possibility, right? We're not completely writing anyone off. We're really just holding space for true healing and miracles and possibilities to take form. And so those are the 5 levels of compassion as shared by Dr. Gabor Maté. We'd love to hear if there's anything that you would like to add or share about this topic, anything that I may have missed or anything that you may have taken or resonated with. How this is showing up in your life. Is this something that you've been working with? Whatever it is that you would like to share. Comments are open. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like. You can also share it with anyone that may resonate. And make sure to subscribe so that you get notified every time I post a new video so you don't miss anything. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I love you all so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your morning, your evening, your day, your weekend, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.